Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to everyone. Very nice to have so many familiar faces with me today. It's the 26th of March, 2025. My name is Richard Affolter. I'm the director of WEBA, and today we have a special edition of Study in Switzerland. And soon we will welcome here Yanis from the Ecole. So I can see that we are quite ready to start with this workshop. I invite, as usual, everyone to remain on the mute modality. This is very, very important when we give the presentation. And below there is a chat system. As you can see on Zoom is a chat system. If you have any questions, you are invited to put your question down directly on the chat so that we can reply to you. So I want to say, first of all, hello to some of the people that I know since over 25 years now. One of them is Otto Laszlo from Hungary. I hope you're well, Otto. And Dr. Don Kim from South Korea. Hello, nice to see you. And as well to all the other that I know since many, many years. It's always nice to have you all here on time. And as you know, I'm a typical Swiss. Hello, Mrs. Pinar Simen as well. And all the other one, Amir, everyone, hello. Thank you to join me. And it's nice to have you here all. We are here on time, online. We meet us many, many times in person. And today we are here with this workshop. And personally, I went to visit the school. I was at the school on Monday. So I take the train and I left the office like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was there at 11:30. I spent about 2 hours to visit this beautiful campus. I really enjoyed. I meet the staff. I had a very nice lunch. I visited the campus, the library. I learned a lot about the school, about the history of the school as well. And many famous people study in this school. For your information, we had the Gandhi family who studied there, Boss family from the close. So it was a very, very interesting school for me to visit. And I can see that Yanis is here already. Yanis, you can unmute yourself, please.
Yes, hello Richard.
Hello, Yanis. How are you
Hello
today?
everyone. Yes, I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Yanis is the school representative. He was a student and a teacher, if I'm correct, and now you are part of the board. It is correct?
Yeah, so I was a student there actually for 6 years. So during my high school and I finished the Swiss Matura there. And I was a teacher actually at a different school. But now I am in the board of directors of the school as the co-president. And actually, we have 9 people in the board of directors. And all of the 9 are actually former students or former teachers of the school. So we are all alumni actually running the school.
Wow, very impressive, very, very impressive. I think this is quite unique to have someone who was a teacher and at the same time is now part of the board. So very, very impressive. Yanis, we talk each other a couple of times before of this workshop. I get to know more about you, about the school. How many students study there at the school now at the moment?
Yeah, so at the moment we have about 80 students.
Okay.
And I would say the average during the last few years was about 100 or 90 students. So 80, 90, 100, depending a bit on the year. Yes.
We can say that the great part to do this school in Switzerland is the final destination, because many students who study in Switzerland in this particular school, they end up to do the University of Zurich. It's called the ETH, or even the University in St. Gallen, University of Neuchâtel. And the great advantage to study in Switzerland then in a second stage in the university is that study in Switzerland is free of charge. So all the students who do the high school in Switzerland and get the Matura, they will be able to enter into the Swiss university. But Yanis will explain us a little bit more about everything. So Yanis, you are more than welcome to share the screen. Let me give you the okay to share the screen. Yes, you can share the screen and we can start with the presentation. Thank you to join us, Mr. Yon Gan Lu. I hope I spell it correctly.
Yes, let me.
Yes, take your time. In the meantime, just say hello to the new one who joined us, Belinda. Belinda Lee, welcome on board, and all the other Gary Chang, Hilal Dogu, and we have many agents coming from different countries of the world today. So this is great to have this great network of agents. So to join, to share your screen, you need to go down on the file and just share your screen. Fantastic. Yes, these are a little bit the famous people who
Sure.
study in the school. As you can see, we have all type of famous people. The Boss family, I was mentioned before, clothing and textile procedure. Then we have the Rajiv Gandhi, sixth Prime Minister of India. So
So
we
let
have
me
the
switch to
people
this
from
if you want.
everywhere.
So can you
Please.
see the presentation now?
No, I just see now the Wikipedia that you show us. Now I can see the presentation. Yeah,
Yeah? Okay,
fantastic.
perfect. So let me tell you guys a bit about the school, yes? So wait, let me switch. So anyway, so here actually on the left, you can already see on the lower part, you can already see these sort of mountain chalet houses. So this is actually already the campus here, yeah? And I would say to start off with, this become who you are, I think is a very central sort of phrase in our school philosophy because they really try to make the people develop their passions and find sort of their career path. So as you could see, there is different people that went to the school and some of them really pursued an academic career, but then some others became famous artists like Hans Zimmer, for example. So one of the most famous composers of the world actually also went to the school. So there's different sort of life trajectories from people that went to the school, whether that's in music, in arts, or very academic, or even sports. So yeah, this is one central aspect to really have this sort of individual, yeah, to support individual sort of trajectories. Now, also here, so from the academic point of view, it really tries to tailor the specific needs for each student and really get the best out of each student, whether that's socially, but also academically. So if someone is very talented in maths, for example, they could really be supported and then have a career, for example, at the ETH. A good friend of mine, he studied at the ETH, which is like that basically one of the top five ranking universities in the world. And so he pursued a career in maths, for example. Now, here a bit about the background. So actually, the school is quite old. So it's been at the Haselberg in Switzerland for 80 years. And very famous people influenced the pedagogy and the philosophy of the school. So here on the right, Ruth Kohn, she's a world famous psychologist who was up at the school for 20, 30 years, influencing how the structure of the school is and the pedagogy. And Martin Wagenschein actually is a famous mathematician, a German mathematician, who stayed up in the school for about 50 years. And there's even a building named after him, the Martin Wagenschein House. Um, and Paul Gehebe on the left, he is the founder of the school. And he founded the school. He was a very sort of well-connected person with academics all over the world. And so back in the days, there is letters going back and forth between him and Einstein, for example. He was very close friends with Einstein. And which is very interesting because we still have this Paulus Studierzimmer, so his old office, it's still preserved in the school, and it's almost like a mini museum. You see his old office with his stacked letters and everything is very interesting to see. So here, just to give you guys an overview of where the school is actually located. So it's quite in the heart of Switzerland, where the Swiss mountains start. Um, so here you see an overview. Here you see the campus on the lower side, and yeah, you see it's in the heart of Switzerland, in the heart of the mountains. And so these beautiful mountains, I was fortunate enough to wake up to for 6 years during when I grew up. I had this very beautiful scenery. And just a bit more on the location. So it's actually located near many famous sort of places that people visit in Switzerland, like Interlaken, Lucerne, and this is all close by for like half an hour distance. So it's really in a nice location. This is very close to the school. It's sort of like a local little lake. People can swim in the summer. Just to give you guys a bit of a feeling where the school is located and what is around the school. Here you see the facilities. So as I mentioned before, it's a very mountain style houses. So in Switzerland, these are very the famous, it's called chalets. So these are sort of the famous Swiss houses up in the mountains. And so the school consists of about 12 of these houses. And they live in there in Ecole families. So it's a family structure. So about 8 to 10 students live on one floor in single and double rooms. And about there's an apartment with about 2 or 3 teachers that live there. So it's sort of like a family structure in each house. And so it creates this home away from home atmosphere. So it's really a tight community. And since the school is rather small, everyone knows each other and there's a very strong sense of community. And even actually, Richard, I don't know if I told you yet, there's a new house being built. So a foundation in Zurich actually gave the school about 2 million Swiss francs beginning of the year and for a house project. So there's going to be a new house built actually by 2026 that includes new school rooms and actually also, which I'm very happy about, a new sort of chemistry lab and science lab facility. Because actually, from my background, so after the school, I myself went to the ETH and I studied biology, and I finished my master's degree in neuroscience at the ETH. And so I have a very sort of scientific background, I would say. So I appreciate the school really also being more modern now in within the sciences and really having a good setup that will help them to thrive at universities like the ETH. Yes, Richard?
Yes, Yanis, we discussed about this. I mean, you mentioned now ETH or ETH, like I say in English. I always say ETH in German because the university is located in Zurich. What is very important is the students who would do this high school, they will go to ETH. ETH is today one of the top ranking university in Europe. And
In the world, actually,
in
also.
the world, in the
Yeah.
world, in the world. So we have many Asian students and from Latin America. By the way, I want to say hello to the agent from Latin America as well today, who is now, I think, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for joining us. I very much appreciate it. And as well, logical to all the other agents from Europe, from CIS country, from Kazakhstan, from Africa, from the Middle East, from India, from Nepal. Everyone, welcome here today to the workshop. I want to say back to the school that is very, very important this step because many parents, they are looking to bring the students in top ranking university, and to go in top ranking university they will need to do this step to go in a Swiss high school first and reach the level. This is a very big helpful. Yanis, you please.
Yeah, just to add to this, so for you guys to explain, to understand a bit this university structure in Switzerland. So in Switzerland, there's some top ranking universities where they, for the bachelor's level, they want the Swiss Matura, so the Swiss high school certificate, which we offer in the school. So it's possible to prepare for the Swiss Matura in our school. But then there's also top ranking universities in Switzerland where it's enough to say you have a US high school diploma, which we also offer at the school. So, for example, the EHL is the École Hôtelière de Lausanne. It's a famous hotel management school in Lausanne, which is top ranking within the hotel management schools. They are actually friends of mine who did the US system, so the high school diploma, the US high school diploma in the Ecole. They went to the EHL and and also the HSG, so the management school in St. Gallen. Also there, and the other schools for the master's niveau, you can already, it doesn't matter whether you have the Swiss Matura or the US high school diploma. So let me continue a bit with the facilities, just for you guys to have an impression of the school. Here you see a new library that was built a couple of years ago. And actually, something that is interesting that I wanted to mention is that actually the school is a not-for-profit organization. Now, this is very interesting, as the name already says, École d'Humanité means it's a school for humanity. And what that means is they try to make the school available to everyone. And now, since it's a not-for-profit organization, there are some close connections to some foundations and to people who want to donate. And for example, this house was donated by a very famous academic, the Behrendt family. And so it's called Behrendt House. And he donated it after he died. And so, yeah, so it was built a couple of years ago. And so it's a really nice new library. And so also the new house that is being built is donated by a foundation. So I think that is something interesting to mention.
Yes,
Now,
I have a picture of myself inside in this house, and when I will do a follow-up email, because at the end of the workshop, I will do a follow-up email and I will share a copy of the recorded workshop. I will share as well my picture of my visit at the school that I did last Monday. And I took especially a photo inside in the library because it's great. I mean, this is fantastic. So this is something very, very unique for students coming to Switzerland to study at the École d'Humanité and then after end up in a Swiss university. And the great part is that this school offers the Swiss Matura and the American system. And as you all know, there are many international students who study in Switzerland for hotel schools. Like you mentioned before, Ecole Hotelier de Lausanne, they have two campuses today. One is in Lausanne and one is near Chur. So what happened now, students from high school, they choose as well to go in the hotel industry inside. So this is a very important step for you to understand the advantage to study in this school. Yanis, the floor
yeah,
is all yours.
yes, I will continue. And also just to add to that, so I will tell a bit more about the academic systems after. And something important just to note is that the school and the college advising team of the school really tries to get the student into the university which the student wants to go to. So also a lot of our students, of course, they go back to America and they go to universities in America or in London or in other places. And they really try to get the students really into the place they want to go and help them along the way. And the success rate is very, very good. So let me continue here a bit. Now, I already mentioned in these buildings, there's Ecole families. So here you just see a few images. And basically, there's mixed gender and age in the families, like in a normal family, right? So in a normal family, in a big family, you have kids different ages and sort of there's 2 or 3 teachers called family heads, basically as role models and support during the daily life of this boarding life situations. And actually, Richard, you mentioned you also went to eat there in the school.
Yes,
And
correct.
so you
Correct.
probably saw that in the school, the families are sort of seated at separate tables in sort of the dining hall. And so it's a shared meal together. So there's a strong bond and also within the family, to give the kids a good sort of community feeling when they come from far away, right? So they have sort of like a new family then at the Ecole.
When I was there, I had my lunch. I was there at lunch with African students from Uganda, with Chinese students. I remember with a student from, if I'm correct, from Kazakhstan. And there was as well one student from South America, somewhere, or Middle America, South America, thinking. So it was very, very mixed. How many nationality studied there to have an idea, Yanis?
Well, at the moment, it's about 20 different nationalities.
Yeah.
And I think when I was there as a student, actually, I think it was about 30,
Yeah.
30, 35. So that's
Yeah.
impressive, yes.
I met as well a girl from Pakistan. So it was a Pakistani students there as well, for your
Yeah.
information. It was very, very mix of students. And we had as well, I met 2 other Muslim students, boys. and this girl from Pakistan, beside all the other. But another great advantage to study this school is that the school is mixed as well with Swiss students. So they are
Yes.
not only international students, but they are as well Swiss students. Maybe you can explain this a little bit, Yanni.
I have another slide that really shows a bit the distribution, so we will get to that. Now, a bit more to the academic program. As I mentioned, there's an American program that are grades 8 to 12, and they offer different AP courses, and it's also an official SAT test site. So the SAT exam, some colleges require to have good SAT scores, and you can prepare at the Ecole and you can take the test at the Ecole. And then in the Swiss program, as I said, it's also lower secondary program and the Matura. So it's possible, depending if someone wants to learn German, they can try to go for the Swiss Matura. And if they're English speakers and it's maybe it's a bit easier to do the US high school, then that's the logical next step. Yes. And actually here on this photo, I know that actually the students in the photo because the picture were actually taken at the time back when I was there. So actually on the top photo in the middle, it's a girl from Taiwan. In the back, it's a guy from Hungary, and in the front here, it's a girl from Italy. And then in the lower photo, actually, all the three kids are from Switzerland. So
Great.
just to, it's a nice,
So
nice.
my friend Otto Laszlo, who is from Hungary, is
Yeah.
very happy to know that there was a student from Hungary there. Otto, as you can see, hello Otto. I hope
Hello,
you're well.
hello,
So I
hello.
will just
Can
say
you
to
hear me?
Yanis, I will
Yes,
just say
I
to
hear you.
Yanis that we
Okay.
had one student from Hungary there,
Who was that and where from?
from
Sorry.
Hungary.
Who was that? Who?
Uh, um, Adam Harsani is his name. I don't know. His sister Kinga was also at the school, and she was a very good chess player from Hungary, actually.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's
so
good.
she was actually, I think she won the youth championship in chess, actually.
Really?
Yeah, Kinga was her name.
Kinga.
Yeah.
Harsányi Kinga, yes.
So let me continue a bit. Um, Now here, as you can see, so what is special about the school is also that the classes are very small. So if you have a class that is only 5 or 6 students, and you can really profit more from the teacher, you can really talk to them more, and I think that really differentiates the school from public schools and from other schools, is really the small class size. And also, what is very unique is that during the semester, there's no grading system. You don't get grades. So that takes the pressure away and really makes the students be passionate about the learning because they don't feel pressure. And it really showed in our school that in the very end, when they take an exam, of course, like the Matura, they are grades, right? But it really showed that their grades at the end of the Matura is really good, even though they didn't have the grading system before. So that system they've had for many, many decades, and it really works well to take the pressure away that nowadays many people feel and to still strive academically. And also, what is very unique is that actually the academic courses are mostly in the morning. And in the afternoon, there's a different system that I will get to later. And just another thing to mention that there's also a big student support team. So nowadays, if there are students that have ADHD or a bit learning difficulties, and they maybe it's hard for them to really profit in public school or in other private schools, here they really get a support team. And with that support and that community, they really thrive at the Ecole. And just to mention that as well. Now, let me continue. Here again, you see the community a bit, how it is right now. So right now, it's about 60% in the American system and about 40% in the Swiss system. Now, in the past few years, it was about 50-50, sometimes more here, sometimes more there. And here you see the national. Yes, Richard.
Yes, Karen is asking me a question, Yanis.
Yes.
What is the English level the students need in order to join?
So this is actually a good question. So now for the Swiss system, of course, there's no English required. Now for the US system, actually also you don't need much English to join because especially for the lower grades. So if you join eighth or ninth grade, you basically, there's no big English requirement because you really learn the English fast in that community because English is spoken every day and they have also English as a foreign language classes that can really get you up to speed. So now, of course, if you want to join in 11th or 12th grade just before graduation, there's an academic level of English needed, right? But if you join in the beginning of high school, really people join that barely spoke English and they really catch it fast at the school.
Yanis, we have another question from Mr. Muhammad. He
Yes.
asks, what is the entry age? We're talking about 7 years old kids, 8 years old kids. What is the
Yes.
minimum age student can start?
So from the authority side in Switzerland, the age is 11.
Okay.
Above 11, you can technically come to the school. Then for the Swiss system, there's already classes that are offered for kids that young. So actually, Richard, I joined before my 12th birthday. So when
Okay.
I came to the Ecole, I was just before my 12th birthday. I was actually still 11. And then I stayed until I was 18 years old. So I was there for quite a while. And for the American system, it's eighth grade. So what age does that translate to? Probably like 13, 14, I would say.
Yes, correct, correct.
So I think that would be the age that makes sense. But you know, an earlier age is still possible to learn English and to get it going. So
Thank you,
yes,
Yanis. Thank you
I
very
hope that
much.
answered the question. So
Yes.
yeah, so in the bottom, you can actually see that now the Swiss students, there's actually about like 30 Swiss students at the school right now that either are doing the Matura, you know, or they prepare for like a specific apprenticeship or next school.
Yeah, I can see that the nationality of the students include as well a student from Morocco, from Jordan, from Pakistan, as I mentioned before, Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
Tajikistan, very interesting, Uganda.
Yeah, and I mean it's a picture from right now, right? So like a few years ago, I can say, for example, when I was there, we had a very big cohort of students actually from Bali, which was very interesting.
From
There was like
Indonesia.
5 people that already knew each other that all came together from Bali,
Wow,
and
wow.
quite a few people from Taiwan. So actually, I know about 10 alumni from Taiwan myself, and also from Tajikistan, for example, we had 2 kids at the time. Yeah, so there's different kids depending on you know which year you come, right? And yeah,
Obvious,
now
obvious. And I can see that you have Chinese students as well. You have 6 Chinese students at the
yeah.
moment there. Two was with me in my table when I had lunch at the school. So very, very nice.
Yeah, and I think just to touch upon that a bit. So what I think is really interesting for the school is a very big alumni community. And so the alumni, as you can see here, they are spread all over the world.
Yeah,
So me personally, when I travel, for example, and I go to America or I go, let's say I go somewhere in Asia, there's in each country, I know an alumni. Or I can write on the alumni page, I can write, hey, is there an alumni there who wants to meet? And such a tight community because you grow up like a family. So it's like my brothers and sisters a bit, or like my closest friends. So whenever you also need expert help from in the academia, or you know you want someone to help you out there, you can reach alumni all over the world to help you out. And I think that really is also a pull factor for the school, to be honest.
I saw that some Nigerian agent joined us today as well. Welcome. And I met, as I said before, a student from Nigeria at the school on Monday as well. So I think the community of African students start to coming slow and slow more to Switzerland. Yanis, what are the three major points to consider at the school? I mean, one, which you did not tell so far, is the accommodation. Maybe you can explain a little bit the greatest advantage about the accommodation.
The accommodation, you mean the houses, or what do you mean?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Because in the majority of the school, usually the accommodation is like a college, you know, like 30 rooms, one after the other. At your school, this is completely different because they are accommodated in a nice chalet, in a nice house. Maybe if you can show the house one more time, I think it was one of the first slide. You can
Yeah,
show
I can go
exactly
back a
where the
bit to the
students will
house. So
stay.
here you see different houses, right?
Yes.
And so actually, do you see the house here on the bottom left? this was actually the first house I lived in when I got there. So
Okay.
it's a big sort of chalet, and you see there's different floors, right? And so in some floors, let's say the lower floors, there might be classrooms in there. And as I said, there's a new house with even more classrooms coming. But so there's classrooms in the lower floor, and then in the upper floors, there's different student rooms. So then I got the chance to, for example, live with my like a good friend of mine. So the two friends, we were in the room together. We were roommates. I learned English that way because he was from Texas at the time, from America, and yeah, then there's an apartment where the teachers live, and so it's like in a big family, in a big house, and so that really fosters the sense of community and family, for
And
sure.
this make the parents safe, because the child, the kids, they stay together with the family, and this is a great advantage in refer of the accommodation inside your school.
Yes, absolutely. And so there's all these houses around the campus, and every house has their different advantages. Either they're really close to the campus, or you have a nice mountain view, or it's more modern, or there's more space. So there's different houses. They all have their own character, and that's really nice. So let me go forward again a bit here. Now, as I mentioned already, in the morning you have the academic courses, and in the afternoon there is an afternoon program that I think is completely unique. So in the afternoon, actually, there's classes to choose from in sports, handcraft, arts, music, and the amount of courses to choose from is enormous because there's actually a lot of staff that the school employs. So there's about 50 staff members that can offer a variety of courses. I mean, from all different music instruments to different sports. I mean, we have a pottery room that people can, is a proper pottery studio that people can make pottery. And there's blacksmithing, as you can see. I mean, there's a photo studio to develop analog pictures. So like a dark room. And there's many different things. And also, let me show you a bit. So there's theater is a big thing. So actually, Richard, a few people that graduated from the school actually went into acting because also theater is a big thing that people can do at the school if they want to. And actually, a friend of mine, Basil Eidenbenz, he went on to be an actor, and he joined Netflix for a series, The Witcher, and he's actually
Wow.
an actor there for Netflix.
Wow, wow.
And another friend of mine, she started acting, and actually she got like a small little role with Game of Thrones that
Oh,
maybe you also know.
yes,
Um,
absolutely, absolutely.
so beside the academic path, there's different paths that also like music, for example. So at the Hans Zimmer who already mentioned, and there's a Swiss musician. Probably you guys maybe don't know Stefan Eichert. He's a Swiss musician who also went to the school for a long time, and that's where he discovered the music.
Yanis, I need to ask you two questions. One from Otto Laszlo now is if he needs a little bit more information about the curriculum for age student plus 14. So I wanted to explain to Otto that the curriculum, the school is offering two curriculum. One is the American system and one is the Swiss Matura. So they have two curriculum. So when the students arrive, maybe Yanis, the
Yeah.
Hungarian students who study there, did he choose the American system or the Swiss Matura?
Which student, Richard?
The Hungarian one
So he was in the American system.
in the
So
American
he
system.
came into the American system, and I guess he came when about for ninth or 10th grade. He joined when he was that age, and then he finished the high school program. So he did the 11th and the 12th grade. He got the high school diploma, and so for him, as for every student, there's college advising. So they asked him, "Hey, Adam, where do you want to go?" And then he said, "Hey, I want to go to London." He wanted to go to London. And so then they checked, the university in London, what is the requirement? And I don't remember, right? But maybe they said, okay, you need a bit different AP courses or a good SAT score. And that's what he chose. So the students can choose which courses they want to take. And they have a tutor, so like a teacher who advises them and says, okay, Adam, if you want to get to this goal, you should take these courses. And so he took these courses. He got good grades at the tests, And then he got accepted into the university in London, and he is in London now.
Another questions came
Yes.
up from Karen as well. Not more a question, but we spoke about students coming from Middle East, from Africa, from Latin America. We forgot about our European students, as we are based here in Europe at the moment. She has inquiry for Spain and UK family. So do you have experience to welcome European students from?
Absolutely, absolutely. Many European students besides the Hungarian, yeah, I have many good friends from Italy that went to the school, that grew up in the Toscana and they went to the school, but also from Spain, as you mentioned. I think the Desigual family is a Spanish brand. I think some of these kids also went to the school. So there's other kids from Spain who, yeah, they also do the US program, and we have very good success with that US program as well. So they come to the school, they take different classes, they get the diploma, and they can then go to either back to Spanish universities, or a lot of them also they then chose to go, for example, to America, right? So there's tons of universities in America that can be attractive for students, whether that's Boston, Northwestern, or even one student actually that I know, she went to Oxford, and because she wanted to become a lawyer. And so yeah, it really depends on what the goal is, but we have, whether that's in Europe or from Asia, the students, they all really have a good time in the US program.
Yanis, we have with us here at the moment 50 agents, and thank you everyone to join us. It's always a very great pleasure to have you all with us today. And I have one question that I ask you. Do you have a career service inside the school? A
Yes,
career service that helps the students go to
absolutely,
the right university, to do the
absolutely,
application process,
absolutely.
etc. Can
Yes,
you maybe explain a bit more about this, Yanis?
absolutely. So in both the systems, US and the Swiss system, there's career advising. So it's college advising and career advising. I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? So when the students come, they are assigned a tutor. The tutor is a staff member that is very experienced, and so that tutor regularly checks in with the student, and checks in with the goals that the student has. If he doesn't know yet, then there's a program that offers them to check out different things. So they have the chance actually to visit different universities in Switzerland while they're at the Ecole. So when I was a student, I got to visit different universities in Switzerland also, to check out, to visit a lecture, to go to an information event. And so there's different events like that. And then they really have a big team advising them on career choices and college choices. So yeah, so this college advising thing, there's a very experienced team. Yes, can you hear me, Richard?
Yes, I can hear very well. You can continue with the presentation.
Okay. Now, here again, you see a few pictures for, music, dance, and theater. That's a big part of the Ecole. And actually, like I said, many careers result from it. So another friend of mine, he's now actually a rapper in Dubai. So he's a Swiss guy, but he moved to Dubai, and he has a rap crew there. And yeah, then the outdoor program, I think that's the next like really big thing at the Ecole that is super unique. So I can actually tell you a lot about this, Richard. So the school is located inside a ski resort, basically. So in winter, skiing is a very big thing. So everyone learns how to ski. They get a ski pass. You can also go snowshoeing, if you think it's too dangerous or people don't want to ski, there's snowshoeing. But skiing is a big thing in winter. Then in summer, there's so many things you can do outside, right? Mountain biking, climbing, trail running. And we all have the staff to teach these courses in a safe way, with the right expertise. And another big thing is multi-day hikes. So I told you about this, Richard, already in a previous call, right? So twice per year, the school goes on a multi-day hike. So a 4-day hike in fall and even a 6-day hike in summer. And so the whole school spreads up to small groups of, maybe 10 students, 2, 3 teachers, and they go for a multi-day hike somewhere in Switzerland. As you can see here on the pictures, you see some of them hiking. And I mean, this is such a transformative experience to be out in nature for a couple of days and, to plan everything together, and the students really take over responsibility and then yeah have this experience and experience in nature. And something else, Richard, I wanted to mention.
Yes, please.
So Yannick Glattard, who I mentioned here on the slide, he is one of the best climbers in the world. He's one
Wow.
of the best mountaineers and alpinists in the world. And now he was a student when I was a student back in the days. And now, since he's from the region, so he was a Swiss guy from that region, and he came back to that region and now works for the school as a mountain guide. So Swiss mountain guide, I think is the top mountaineers in the world. And so he teaches climbing and ski touring and these things for the school. And we were very fortunate to have actually one of the best climbers to teach climbing at the school, which I think, since I also climb, I think is fantastic. And climbing is very big. It was an Olympic sport in 2020 in Tokyo. So it's also very big in Japan. And now the school has its own little bouldering room. And Yannick Lattard, he also maintains a climbing gym next to the school close by. And so climbing is also a very big thing that, students can choose. They don't have to, but they give the opportunity to choose. They can choose what they want to do. So that's why become who you are. You can choose what you want to do. And you're giving that opportunity, that variety of choice at the school.
Yanis, I think you give a very good presentation. Let's go to the business side.
Yes.
Business side, this is why we are here as well.
Yes.
And the agents, they want to know a little bit, how much is the tuition fee? How much is the commission? And when they can start? I know that the application is a rolling application, correct? They can start, usually the majority start in August, but there is a rolling application, so they can start anytime. Is this correct?
So exactly. So the school year, it starts, I think, 30th of August or like 1st of September. So yes, beginning of September in that sense. And there's a rolling application, as you mentioned. So if you want to leave your school during the year, because there's a problem or your family moves location, whatever the case may be, you can apply for the Ecole and you can join the school. So even Richard, funnily, even I joined in the middle of the year back when I was a student. Okay. Because exactly. So someone recommended the school. I wasn't so happy with public school. And I joined in April, actually. So in April, I joined the school in the middle of the year.
What is the entry requirement, Yanis? This is something that many agents always ask. I don't think there is any entry requirement.
No, there is no specific entry requirement. Yeah. And we've also never had problems with student visas. Actually, I double checked. So with the student visa, the school helps if there's questions, if there's difficulties. But I think in Switzerland, for a student to go to school in Switzerland, I think Switzerland in general is very open for students.
Yes.
So that's not a problem. So the other questions, as you said, so yeah, again, rolling application, you can send them tomorrow basically, and you can ask.
Yeah.
And then the tuition, so it's about 70K.
Yeah.
In Swiss francs. And then, of course, if there is additional support needed, yes, Richard?
Sorry to interrupt you all the time. Back to the visa for a second. It's very important as well for the agent who join us later is that the visa rate is quite 100%. I personally visited the school on Monday. I saw students from Pakistan, from Africa, from Latin America, from Russia, from everywhere. So they got visa without any problem. And this is something that is very important. I ask as well your staff there, and they all confirm. I spoke to the students. So this is a great advantage. And then I received another question is, there is no visa for European students. The visa is usually for students coming from outside Europe. Logically, as well, European students, they will need to register when they come, and the school will register them. And for the UK students as well, so there is absolutely not a problem for European and UK.
Absolutely. So, it doesn't matter really what country you're from. Like,
exactly.
As the name says, Ecole d'Humanité, it's for everyone, and that really is the case. Also, when I was there, actually, there was 3 students from Bhutan. That are now actually good friends of mine. So one of them, Jimmy Tsering, he is from Bhutan, and he came to the school. He stayed also for like 6 years. He did the US system, And then he stayed in Switzerland. So he studied in Les Roches, a hotel management school in Switzerland. And now he works in Zurich. He works at Kayak. It's a tourism company here in
I know
Zurich.
them. I know Kayak.
And now he even got the Swiss passport last month. Because now he stayed in Switzerland for such a long time. His girlfriend is from Switzerland, and yeah, it's a great. I would say it's a great story. And he's from Bhutan, and it's very interesting, the country.
And the
Now,
tuition fee, Yanis, the tuition fee is 70,000 Swiss francs, 7000. And what is include this? What is including this? Is the accommodation included, the tuition fee? Maybe you can explain a little bit.
yeah, so basically most things are included. I think there's some extra fees if someone wants like an external music teacher, for example, something very specific that, maybe it's not included. But for these things, I mean, it's not in relation to the 70K, there's not much more that makes a difference than with the extras. But like the whole living and the food and everything, that's all included. It's a boarding school, and so naturally anything that pertains to the boarding is included, yes.
So the food is included, breakfast, lunch, dinner is included as well. Clothes, washing clothes
Yeah, so exactly. There's like a washing system. Actually, they changed it from when I was a student. Probably when I was a student, I think the clothes were sent to a company, and I think now it's in-house. Actually, they have washing facility in-house, and so there's a washing laundry service in-house. But I mean, these are details. I mean, it's a boarding school that's been running since 80 years.
Okay.
So I mean, all the technicalities that they are sorted. So I think these details, it's not a new school. It's 80 years that they've been running things smoothly for a long time.
The 70,000 Swiss franc is for 1 year tuition fee and accommodation and food. It's 1 year. So
Yes,
it's important
exactly.
that because usually students start on grade 7 or grade 8 or grade 9 or grade 10. It depends if they choose the Swiss Matura or if they choose the American system.
Yeah.
What I want to add here, I think is very, very important as well, is how the application process starts. Students need to fill out an application form. Before that, you agents, we need to sign up an agreement with the school. And I share with you today on the Zoom below, I share with you a document. If you can fill out this document and send this back by email. I will just repeat it one more time on Zoom, this copy of this document. And what is very important is to fill out this one so we can send you the agreement. And after the workshop, I will do a follow-up email and I will explain everything more in detail. But let's go to the commission part. Yanis, we are all business people. How much
Exactly. So the commission, I think they have a very interesting structure here with the École d'Humanité. So the commission is as follows. If you send between 1 or 2 students per year, or for 1 year, then the commission is 12.5% of the tuition paid. Now, if you send more, so let's say for 1 year there's 3 to 6 students that are referred, then the commission increases to 16.5%. And it's even higher if it's above 7 students, which I don't know how likely it is that scenario happens, but then it would be 21%. So that's for the first year. So again, if it's 1 student, it's 12.5% for the first year. And for the second year, it's 8%. So even if they stay, a second year, you still get another commission 8% on that tuition paid.
I put this information on the chat system below on Zoom. As you can see, I just typed down the commission, so that is very clear. But as I mentioned, I will do a follow-up email with all of you, and I will just rewrite everything in details.
Yes, and so anyone, of course, who would be interested and wants to enter this sort of commission agreement, then of course, that contract of that commission contract with all the details, I have it ready. It can be sent in the follow-up email or for anyone who wants to, and then all the details are in there. But yeah, so again, it's sort of a dynamic system depending on how many students, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, this is a very important. Then let's go to the application process, Yanis. Then they sign up the agreement. They know about the commission. they need to fill out a form, and then after they register, the school will make a confirmation how much is the deposit the family has to pay when they enroll the students.
So exactly. So if they want to enroll, I think the deposit is 5K.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think you mentioned this. You asked me, is it refunded if, the visa application doesn't come through? And I actually double checked and they said, well, the visa application always came through.
Okay.
But then of course it will be refunded, or, I think this is clear, that, if something doesn't work, then for sure, there's always a solution, and we're very much trying to, be supportive of whatever the situation is, and also be supportive in the application process. So, I mean, they have an office with admission for the US system and admission for the Swiss system. So there's people in the office that can assist and ask questions and can assist with the visa process or with the application if something is not clear. And so now we try to streamline it a bit, the application process. So, I mean, you fill out the document with your contact details and everything. And I think then really fast, there's a first talk. So you have there is like a sort of like an interview, or, to give more information from the school side, and maybe to ask some questions and to see if it's a match. And then, I mean, the application can really be, done quickly and supported by the school staff.
A very important point that I just got now on WhatsApp here, the agent asking me, is back to the accommodation. Do you offer single room? Sorry,
Yes,
some people write me on my WhatsApp.
Exactly.
I need to reply.
So to answer this,
Yes.
the default, I would say, is double room.
Okay.
But you can purchase, in that sense, a single room if it's requested. So upon request, for an extra 10K, you can have a single room.
Okay.
So I think this, in my experience, a lot of the students, they love the double room because you can choose, you can influence who you are in the room with. And this boarding system, it has a different, so from the school leadership team, there's one for boarding, and that person really tries to make that accommodation as good as possible for the kid. So, if there's a problem in the room, you can switch, and it's really matched in a way that, for example, I got a chance to be in the room with one of my best friends. So, I mean, I had a great time in school, and I think for social learning, it can be really important. But then again, if someone wants a single room, or, if it doesn't work out, there is always a single room option available.
One additional point, Yanis, I spoke as well with some of your colleagues at the school regarding Muslim students who want to pray. When they are there, they can. They have the possibility to go back in their own room and pray. So just for your information. And they assist as well the students who follow the Ramadan in this moment. As we all know, there is a Ramadan period in this moment. So there is a full cooperation from the school because they welcome students from all around the world, different culture, different religion, everything, so the school is well prepared in welcome all type of students. The school is not doesn't have any orientation, so the school is open. This is very important for you to know. So when I went there, as I mentioned before, I saw students from everywhere, from Africa, from China, from Kazakhstan, what else? From Europe as well, from Switzerland. So, and the school doesn't have any direction, so they are completely free, to
Yes,
welcome.
something to add to this. I think it's part of the philosophy of the school. I think the idea is, if you make friends when you're kids with people from other countries or other religions, you're not going to go to war later against them. You know what I mean? So when the school was founded, I mean, it was still the time, after the First World War, and things were different back in the day. And I think the idea was really to have a strong community sense with everyone. Yeah. With other cultures, with other nations, to consider them friends and to get along. So I think that's an important part, absolutely.
Yanis, one more question. Sorry that I interrupt you all the time.
Oh, it's perfect.
One more question is, by the way, just someone write me down if the deposit of the money will be refunded in case of visa cancellation. So far in the last years, and they had as well students from Pakistan and from everywhere, there was no visa deny. But in case,
Yes, yes.
logically, the school will give 100% refund, and the school is ready to sign a letter as well about this. Otto asked me a very good question, which is, I think, very, very good. It's possible for parents come with the school, with the student, and visit the school. I think many times it happened that parents are arriving first with the child visit the school, say, okay, I'm happy, and then after.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course. So even my parents, when I before I came there, we visited the school, we looked at everything, and they had a talk with the school directors and so on. And also now they offer like virtual tours. So if it's too far away and maybe it's too much of a hassle to come to Switzerland, there's always the possibility to have a virtual tour, to have video calls, to whatever is needed for them to get really the amount of information that they want. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
But
this one more questions come inside in regarding of the payment of the fee. Do you have a payment plan? I presume as every school, they have a payment plan. First to make the deposit, then they proceed to do all the application process. Then will be a second payment, a second installment, then a third installment, a fourth installment. I think is the same with your school or how
yeah,
it.
I would suppose so. I mean, for the absolute details, I would have to ask the CFO, but I think so you can pay per trimester also. So the school year is split up into 3 trimesters. And also something that's actually interesting to mention now that you ask is that between the trimester, there's also quite long vacation. So there's 10 weeks of summer vacation, which can be interesting for people that come from far away, to go back home to really enjoy the time at home before they have to rush back to school. And 4 weeks vacation they're doing Christmas, New Year, and 4 in spring. And so after these trimesters, you can pay for each trimester separately. But I mean, again, right, Richard? So we try to make whatever works for the customer, right? So, if someone says, hey, I can only pay this amount like a month later or half a year later, I mean, there's always a solution that can be worked out. So I think this won't be the issue at hand.
Yes, Yanis, I think we are getting there. Maybe you can finalize the last part of the presentation.
Yes, for sure. So here, I mean, it's just a bit more about the community life. So I mean, the school tries to sort of, he wants to teach the students to be able to take over responsibility. So besides choosing the courses, you can also influence the community life by a student government, by school assembly where things are discussed within the whole school. And there's a lot of events and like this in the bottom, you see actually Alessandro in the bottom right is the music teacher, and he's actually a famous musician from Italy who went to the school and now teaches music. And so there's singing every Saturday morning and events like this. So just one more thing of this community aspect which is really fostered in the school. And yeah, here you can see a group of students doing some traditional folk dances maybe on a Saturday. And the whole school comes together often and enjoys these types of events. And also something else, just in general, being close to nature and being, living in a sustainable way and, limiting, nowadays with social media, which I like the fact that, people are connected worldwide, but, coming from neuroscience and, being interested in mental health, I have to say that, a lot of the problems nowadays with rising rates in depression and anxiety in the young kids also has to do with the consumption of social media and being addicted to TikTok and these things. So I think at the school, social media and tech, it's very, very limited. So during the day there's no phones, there's no nothing. Like you get an amount in the evening where you can reach out to family and these things, but during the day you're not on your phone. People are talking to each other, they're having sort of real experiences and social experiences. And for the school to be located in such beautiful nature, I think it's the perfect place to get away from the stress of modern life and to sort of have different experiences. So yes, here you just see one more picture of the campus. It's a basketball court, I think, in the middle of the campus. Maybe you saw Richard when you visited.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's where the school gets together. And here's just another picture of a lot of students from I think a couple of years ago. So I think that would be Yeah, basically my side from the pictures from the presentation, just for you guys to see. And actually, Richard, so here in the back, do you see that green field?
Yes.
That green field is a ski slope in winter. So they can ski down in winter and ride to the school. So I think it's a very nice in winter also to be there. For some people, they've never seen snow before, and it's a very magical experience for some kids.
I think you are giving an excellent presentation of your school, and I can see, by the way, Yanis was a student before, he was a teacher, and now he's part of the board of the school. So he went into all level in the school, and I can feel that you can tell us for hours and hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like the other board members, beside me, they are also all former students and teachers, and we really try to, it speaks for the community, I think, to have like people of the community running the school.
Tell me three reasons why they should choose your school compared to other school in Switzerland. I think
Well, for me, I think it's more than a school, it's a home. And it builds up relationships that last forever. So all of my closest friends I've met in the school. And I think in the end of the day, for me, that is the most important thing is the people and the experiences. So I discovered climbing, for example. Someone else discovers maybe music. So the things you discover and you really get a passion for, I think that is unique. And I think to be able to discover passions that are life changing and really set you on a certain trajectory in combination with that community, I think it's unique. And the other thing is that I witnessed a lot of students who didn't like school, before, who had pressure, who had bad grades, whether the pressure was from the school or from the parents, they struggled, and I saw them really enjoy school and have that spark of curiosity that kids have when they're young. They're curious about everything, they want to know everything. And I think it put that spark back in the eyes of the kids, and they really enjoyed learning, and they wanted to pursue a career where they were just open to learning. And I think it really got the best out of whatever the potential is of any student. And I think that is unique. Absolutely.
fantastic, Yanis. I think you really clear up everything about the school. You give an excellent presentation, and I would like to thank you very, very much about this. We all learn more about Ecole. As I mentioned in the beginning, I will do a follow-up email. I will share a copy of the recorded workshop with all of you. So I will make you in contact as well with Yanis. I will CC with him all the information that I will send. You can logically, if you're interested, sign up the agreement. I send the form to you on the Zoom chat below. If you can fill out this form and send this back to me, it will be very, very great. Now I can see that we still have 47 agents who are with us from the beginning, and this is very, very good. That means that you are all interested on the school. This is a great part. I want to say thank you everyone to join me today. Really is very, very nice. I can see many familiar faces that I met many, many times. Thank you as well, Mrs. Nilufer. Very much appreciated as well your final comment that you was very happy about the informative presentation from Yanis. I just try to help him, support him as much as I can.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely. And I mean, if there's any other questions, for sure, I mean, feel free to reach out. And also, if you have a last minute question now, yeah, feel free to ask.
Maria Teresa from Ecuador, I want to say
Yes.
thank you very much to join me because I think it's fantastic from Ecuador. Now I think it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah,
Belinda,
that's great.
thank
Yeah.
you very much, Belinda, as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Don Kim, to join me. I want to thank all the other agents that I know since many years, Mr. Vasifullah, Rohit Shrestha as well, Temi Tope, Dr. Pinar Simen, Mrs. Hilal Dogu, and all the other one. Always very, very nice to have you here. Good.
Thank you, Richard. It was good to see you again.
Thank you, Otto.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
It's
I
my
hope you're
pleasure.
well.
Yes.
You look good. You look good.
Oh,
By the
thank
way,
you.
we will organize in October, we will organize a workshop here in Switzerland. And if many of you are interested to join us, I will send an email later on today or tomorrow with all the information you can register. And we will organize as well a Swiss tour. We will organize a visit of schools in Switzerland. And I hope that the school from Yanis will be part as well, because I think in the end, the best is always to visit the campus to understand all the selling point that you need, because in the end, we're doing business in the educational industry. So I think
Yes, reach out to me, Richard, with the date. And I mean, I'm sure the Ecole d'Humanité would love to welcome many different agents and, really show them the experience of the Ecole, because I think it's unique, Richard, honestly.
yes, in my view, we had this experience. We had some agents here who attend our workshop in the past in Switzerland, who visit school, who now sending regular students. I think in the end, it's like a very nice cake. You have to see it, but you have to test it as well to understand if it's good. The same as with the school, it's important to understand all the details. But as well, a visit is, in my view, very, very important. So I want to say as well, thank you everyone to be here. As I mentioned before, good health. This is something very important as well. Keep strong. I think that here we have a person from the school who is very active. As you mentioned, you're doing hiking as well many times. This is one of your passion. I presume that students who will go to Ecole, they will find beside a school which is in the mountain, a safety place. So it's a very safety place to stay. So
Absolutely.
parents do not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Switzerland is already safe. And then if you're then up in the mountains in that sort of quiet, small
Exactly.
school village almost, then I mean, I think it's yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Yanis. You done a great presentation, and I try to help as much as
Yes,
I
thank
can.
you so much for the opportunity. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, everyone. All the best, and we keep in touch. Thank you, Yanis. Thank you, everyone, to
Thank you so
join.
much. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you to join me today. Thank you, Otto. Have a great day. Thank you to Inuola. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.